Hello. Alright. So now continue. What on earth just happened in there? Hang on. Mr. Naruhondo, I've managed to find out what happened. Mr. Sato, I was told it was an advanced form of smoke grenade, a type of exploding device that releases smoke. A smoke grenade? It... it sounds like the sort of thing ninjas use. They're just making sure everything is safe now. I think the trial will start again before long. But who would have done something like that? The police managed to catch someone who was trying to flee the courtroom, apparently. Flee the courtroom? But why? Well, it's a young girl of around 15, I hear. A young girl? Then, could it be? The other passenger Mr. McGill was talking about. My thoughts exactly. Wait, why am I transparent? Let me see if I can fix that. Okay, not sure if that fixed it, but I hope it did. Yes, my thoughts exactly. So, he wasn't lying. Okay, no, I'm not showing up for some reason. Oh yeah, because I forgot to minimize it. Oh, it still isn't working. Why am I transparent? Maybe it's to do with OBS. Okay, here we go. Well, now I just made the screen black because of that. Let's do it like this. Then like this. And that should fix it. Alright. Yeah, everything should be fine. So he wasn't lying. Oh. What's become of Mr. McGill, actually? There's so many things I need to ask him about, but he's not here. I think he was summoned to the prosecutor's attachment chamber to answer questions, along with the young girl. Who is she, I wonder? And what was she even doing here at the trial? She was taking a huge risk for what possible benefit to herself. This is never a matter that's troubling me. What's that? The 20 pence? Oh, according to the coachman, Mr. Beppo, he took 4 passengers that night and fit a fare of 5 pence each. That comes to a total of 20 pence exactly. But now it seems there were in fact 5 passengers. Which means the figures don't seem to add up again. She's right. That is strange. Contel, for the defense, kindly proceed into the courtroom. Trial will recommence in 5 minutes. Oh, thank you, officer. We'll go straight away. Well, whoever she is, I imagine this young girl will be asked to take the stand and testify now. I really can't imagine what she's going to say, but it could alter the whole direction of the trial. We'll know soon enough, Miss Sato. Yes. There's the young girl next to Mr. McGill. Look. She must have been the one who caused the disturbance before. Well, after a rather eventful recess, the court will now resume the trial of Mr. Magnus McGill. Now then, Lord Van Zix. My lord. I believe you established the cause of the smoke, which violed proceedings earlier. It seems to have been an advanced form of smoke grenade, of the sort typically employed by the army. Good gracious, the army! What in the devil's name? It was an elaborate attempt by a young girl to cloak her escape from the public gallery, but she was caught. And now occupies the stand. Your name, girl? Are you responsible for the smoke grenade which incurred such pandemonium here in my courtroom? What is the meaning of this deplorable behavior? If I may, my lord. Yes, Mr. McGill? I think perhaps I ought to explain here. Why is it that this wee lass was here in the first place, and why she tried to bolt like that? It is all tied up with the events of the night, so it is. Very well, Mr. McGill. Give your testimony. You will explain to the court how exactly this young woman is involved in the case. Just what did happen that night? It's not like a defense lawyer needs that information or anything. On the night in question, I took the back seat in the omnibus and probably nodded off. Then, bigorra, a loud thud and wee scream woke me up with a fair start. There was a fella collapsed on the floor at me feet, so I sat him up on the seat across from me. Then I turned to find out where the scream had come from. And bless my soul, what did I find? There was a child in there, curled up in a ball, hiding her wee self away. I remain somewhat baffled, I confess. But from what I gather, on the night in question, this young girl was indeed riding the omnibus. Is that correct? It is exactly as the defense counsel said. This lass was the fifth passenger, my lord. Very well. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. Are you ready, counsel? Yes, my lord. Or rather, no. I have no idea where to start. Well, if there's no contradiction, you might as well just press. Oh, I'm still free.
Hold it!
And when you first got onto the omnibus, were there any other passengers already on board? No, they're not. The cabin was empty, and here there was no one on the roof deck either. You were the first passenger, as it were, I see. Aye, and that's why I took the back side as I did. It is the most comfortable, so it is. Could you explain exactly what you mean by the back seat? By all means. It is how you already described it earlier. I'm talking about the seat opposite the one in which the poor gentleman who was stabbed was sitting. Like I said, it is the most comfortable and where I feel most at ease. And of course, I enjoy gazing through the skylight from time to time as well. And I woke up.
Hold it!
A loud thud, you say? And a scream? Aye, that's right. I can explain it. It was the sound of someone falling to the ground. That sort of noise. So you think it was the sound of Mr. Mason falling to the floor, having been stabbed? There now, you remember I was asleep at the time, so I wouldn't like to say. And when the sound woke me up, I opened my eyes and there wasn't a soul to be seen in the carriage but the fellow on the floor. You didn't see anyone. But the same moment, you did hear a scream. In the seats above you, from above you on the roof deck, I presume. Not above me, no, my lord. It was from the inside the cabin. But I wasn't altogether thinking about the scream. No, I was too stunned by the desperate sight of before me. Before my eyes.
Hold it!
You set up. The victim, you mean? That I did. On the seat across from me. As I said, I could plainly see the poor devil was already gone. You would leave a dead man just lying on the floor now, would you? Does common God courtesy, so it is. I find that a little hard to believe. Ah, Lord Van Zix. Now why would that be? You awake to a man lying dead at your feet in a carriage. Any normal person would hail the cabin. Any upstanding member of London society, that is. There now, as you know, I'm in setting of a special line of business. Business of lending money at an extraordinary rates of interest. Unfortunately, my lord, not everyone is thankful for the help I offer them, and some would even see me dead. So I do try where it is all possible to avoid getting myself in a tangle with trouble. Are you suggesting that you were just going to leave the man there? Heavens alive, no. I was always intending to report it, so I was. Only I had in mind to find out whys and wherefores first. The whys and wherefores? Right you are. There were some details I wanted to understand before anyone else got to meddling. That wee scream I heard, for example. Wouldn't your good self do just the same? Yes. The scream he says he heard at the same time as the thud of the victim collapsing.
Hold it!
I'm afraid I don't understand. I'm sure you told the court that there was no one else in the carriage except yourself and the victim. So I did, sir. So I did. As far as I could see, that is. What do you mean by that? Well, now, this is a queer thing. The wee scream I heard as I woke up. It came from, if you'll excuse the vulgar expression, under me backside. Good gracious! Under your backside? And when I lifted the seat on which I'd been sitting, I found there was a wee cubbyhole there for storage. Mr. Narhondo, we can examine the omnibus ourselves, remember? Yes, of course. The whole bus was submitted as evidence. This would be a very good time to have a thorough look around inside. And that's when I found her.
Hold it!
You say she was hiding herself? Aye, that's right. It was hard to see in the dim lamplight, but she was all curled up in a wee ball when our eyes met well. My heart nearly stopped beating in my chest. You're really overreacting this. Still, all I pulled her out from under there and sat her on the seat opposite so I could have a wee chatting with her. The seat opposite? That's right. Just next to the dead gentleman there. You sat the young girl next to a corpse, sir? Well, as I'm sure I mentioned, A gentleman in my position can all too often find himself in a mortal danger. So, I needed to find out just who was the urchin you see. And when I was in the middle of talking with her, I heard another scream, a fella's voice, and this time. Presumably, that's the scream of Mr. Presumably, that scream was Mr. First, who was sitting on the roof deck seats. Right you are again. I would say, sir. Looking down through the skylight, you must have seen this young girl and the gentleman with the knife in his belly. In other words, the previous witness did not, in fact, see you at all, Mr. McGill. What they believed to be yourself and the victim was in fact this girl and the late Mr. Mason. Aye, my lord. I think everyone understands now. Sat at the back of the carriage out of sight. It's certainly plausible. The defendant is somewhat diminutive in stature, and readily confused, perhaps, with this young girl. After that, of course, with a scream from the gentleman over us, the driver realized something was wrong and pulled up the horses. Thank you. I've heard enough. The events, as explained, are clear in my mind. However, at least one conundrum remains. Who is the girl? Her name is Kenya Lestrade, my lord. She's a chancer. Earns her crust among large crowds, revealing people of their purses. What's commonly called a pickpocket. What? This girl here? A petty thief. Order, order. Is this true, Miss Lestrade? Miss Lestrade, you will answer the question. Oh, how dare you! What is the meaning of this? The girl, she's gone. Open your eyes. I'm over here. Good gracious, how? What was the point in that little sidestep? I know what you lot are thinking. Grown-ups are all the same. The dirty little diaper, you say, slipped up and got caught in the job. She got herself backed into a corner, so she knifed the gent. Go on, that's what's in your heads, ain't it? No, not at all. This is a court of law. We're here to determine the truth. Look, knives are for cowards. Only thugs use weapons like that. All I need for what I do is these fingers. I'm a professional, all right? Maybe not in your eyes, but I got pride in what I do. Let me guess, you don't count smoke guns among weapons for thugs. No, this? Yeah. This is in a bag I lifted the other day. Down here down where they keep four-wheeled drags. It's nice, isn't it? I like the pink best. Yeah. Do not wave that thing in my direction again. So, you admit you were riding the omnibus on the night in question? It's alright, lass. You can tell him the truth now. Alright, yeah. It's just like the Irishman said. Okay, so he is Irish. The court accepts this girl, Miskina Lestrade, and valid and a significant witness in this case. Accordingly, young lady, we will now hear your testimony, if you please. You tell the court exactly what happened in the omnibus the night in question. Alright, if I have to. So, I snuck inside the carriage before they hooked up the horses, just like always. But it was a right old waste of time. I got nothing to show for me troubles that night. I'll tell ya, you can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there. Then after a while, I hear this loud bang. Nearly jumped out my skin. I did. And the scream just came out. It's because of that swell found me. He did help me get away, mind. Yes, he let you go. I fail to understand why you would let the street urchin go, Mr. McGill. No, tis simplicity itself, my lord. You see, she couldn't possibly have killed the other passenger. I knew that for a fact. How? As I'm sure I said before, sir. She was hiding under the seats, wasn't she? I was sitting right on top of the place. She was hiding herself. I think a demonstration is called for. This is where I sat that night. And in the cubbyhole, and the cubbyhole of which you've spoken is underneath the seat, I presume. Yes, it does appear just large enough to accommodate someone of the girl's stature. Aye, but of course, we lass was stuck in there. Because I had parked myself on the seat for the duration. So you see, that's why I let the lass bolt. I knew that if the police found her, they'd automatically assume she'd done it. But I couldn't live with myself if a young life was ruined when all the time I knew she was innocent. Even though you must have realized your action would result in your own innocence being called into question. Not at all, my lord. Not at all. I knew in my own heart that I was innocent. So I thought it was worth taking a punt of my own good name for the sake of this less unfortunate lass. My goodness. What a perfect gentleman. Oh, whoops. My lord, this is a fine example of a man cannot possibly be guilty of a heinous crime like this.
I'm ashamed of myself for even doubting you, sir.
Oh, sweet. So there's only one more person left to convince. With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time. Wait, so does that mean we win? Or...
Saints alive! All 6 members of the jury consel in their leaning. All 6 members of the jury consensual in their leaning to a verdict of not guilty.
Mr. Narando, this... well, it must mean... It must mean what? That we're victorious. We've won? Are you sure?
Objection!
Oh. If the sight of my iron-heeled Wellington offends, pray, do forgive the discrepancy. This really is a consummate example of the one monumental flaw in British judicial practices, where evidence and reasoning should be paramount. Emotion rules the day. Emotion? Her witness's latest statements give us a clear insight into his true nature. What do you mean his true nature? Do you really think Scotland Yard would have made such a glaring omission? After the incident, the omnibus was comprehensively searched by officers of the police. Obviously, the interior of the cubbyhole, as the witness put it, was included in their investigation. The compartment under the porterior seat was full of the coachman's belongings. It's noted in a black and white here in the police report.
Good Lord!
The evidence has been tampered with.
In order to corroborate Mr. McGill's story, someone has unlawfully removed everything from under the seat.
What?
Order, order! How could such a devious contrivance possibly have been effected, Consul?
Naturally, we must acknowledge the defiances of the compulatory in allowing this to have happened. However, I assure you, when the omnibus was wheeled into the courtroom this morning, the compartment under the seat was not empty. Well, my Nipponese friend? Me? When the carriage was submitted as evidence, doubtless you examined in fine detail, as would any self-respecting perpetrator of the law. Pray, what did you find the condition of the underseat compartment to be? Oh, to be sure, the young gentleman will be able to clear this up in a jiffy. Sorry. Go ahead. You tell the court now, fella. Now, this is an elaborate excuse by the desperate Lord Van Zix.
Well, Consul, do you have something to say on this matter?
How am I supposed to answer? What can I say about the state of that little compartment under the seat of the omnibus?
wasn't empty.
I really don't know if giving this answer is helping my cause as concern for the defense. But as far as I remember, at least, when I first examined the compartment, I'm fairly certain there were a number of articles inside it. Yes.
Are you sure, Cancel?
Be whist.
What are you saying now, you daft daw? I thought you were on my side here.
What game are you playing? Your task is to defend the man in the stand. Why would you say something to compromise his position?
As the advocate for the defense in this trial, I confess I'm still not entirely sure where I stand. But it seems to me that I should state what facts I do know as clearly and honestly as possible.
Interesting.
'Tis not altogether pleasing, fella.
I'm simply telling the truth, Mr. McGill.
There, don't forget that you're supposed to be representing my best interest here, lad. Now then. The fella's memory and curious thing and not altogether reliable. No, the court must consider the facts. That their cubbyhole under the seat is as empty as the devil's heart, so it is. Do you think perhaps it would be in your best interests now to admit that you might have been mistaken?
Why do I feel like something's not right here?
I should like the jury to weigh in on this matter, I think. That compartment is designed to house equipment used to maintain the smooth running of the carriage. The Guild's rules state that omnibuses should be properly and fully equipped at all times. So it certainly wouldn't have been empty on the night in question. Beppo isn't that irresponsible. That money-lending fleecer and the pig purse are lying. Ooh.
I can't believe I was nearly taken in.
The stinking rich are always stinkers. Nothing but cowards, the lot of them.
What? Oh no.
It's a trick. Of course it's a trick.
That's two. Quite so. I must concur here. With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time.
Yes, but every time, different truth. Yes, but every time a different truth, it seems.
Okay. My lord, I humbly exhibit the scales of justice. Clearly, the verdict of not guilty at the time would be wholly inappropriate. Thank you, Gonzale. But before we proceed any further, there is a matter of the outstanding cross-examination. Counsel for the defense, begin your questioning of the witness, please.
Yes, my lord. What just happened? The whole balance of the trial shifted almost beyond recognition. The Reaper of the Bailey is at work, it would seem.
Hmm.
So, you were already in the omnibus before it even set off on its run? Well, yeah. I mean, what's the point of spending a Joey to make a few bob, eh? That's a rum idea, innit? Suppose she means there's no point in spending money to make money. Actually makes sense.
Counsel, may I remind you that this girl is a petty thief. Kindly refrain from entertaining her attendants.
Well, that does clear up the mystery of the fares and all. We were paying passengers at 5 pence apiece, making 20, to which the cabin man testified. And one little scrap race riding for free. The red conch of a driver always goes to some grub before his last run. See, so that's when I slip into the carriage and get myself hidden under the seat. Nice and easy, right?
But your hiding place is a storage compartment, full of equipment for the coach. No.
Yeah, there's brushes and buckets and whatnot in there. Sure. I always chuck that all out and cram the corner somewhere. No one ever seems to bother much.
And yet, according to the report filed by the police officer who first arrived at the scene, the apartment was full of such paraphernalia.
Well, I don't know nothing about that. Like I said, I moved all that stuff out so I could hide under the seat. That's all I can tell you.
Seems we've reached the end of the line of the inquiry. Continue.
Waste of time? Why is that?
Most nights I'm on my own in the guard permit at least some of the time.
I beg your pardon? Did you say guard permit?
Oh yeah, well, that's what my kind call it. You'd say the omnibus, I suppose. The point is, any normal run the carriage ain't got no one in it for a while. And that's when you come out of your hiding place and get away. That's it. Only that night. This cove was sat on me seat from the start, and he didn't budge the whole way, did he? Not 1 inch. I was totally stuck.
You mean to tell us that you were present in the carriage of the duration? You were under the seat the entire time while events unfolded in the enclosed cabin.
Yeah, right, mister. To be sure. I was shocked into as anyone. You don't expect I left the cushion you've been sat on and find a child now, do you? So, is Miss Lestrade couldn't possibly be the culprit then?
Hold it!
So you couldn't see into the cabin at all? Not a jot. Most days I push the cushion up with my head and look out the crack. Then I can have butchers at who I'm gonna fiddle. I thought you were a pickpocket, not a butcher. I mean, I can have a look. The seat I get under ain't as plush as the other ones, see? So most of the time, the passengers plant themselves opposite. But for some reason that night, this here Irishman spent the whole journey right over me head. And for that reason, you weren't able to push the cushion up to peek out, I see. Truth is, I ain't too happy in the small dark places. Feels too much like being thrown in the clink. But it's the only place to hide. It's the only place to hide in them carriages, so it's Oberson's choice. Why doesn't she just stick to the picking people's pockets in the open then? I'd say there's some reason that she's not letting on judging from her demure. So anyways, I was a bit scared, but I had to stick it out under there, nothing else for it.
Hold it!
Could you elaborate on that? When you say loud bang, do you mean the noise of someone falling onto the floor? Could have been, I suppose. I don't remember so well. Point is, it made me jump. And you let her scream involuntarily. That's right. And I felt a cushion over me head and get lighter all of a sudden. Presumably when the defendant got up in order to help the victim, yes?
Or not. It could equally have been the moment the accused stood in order to stab the victim, could it not? Well, girl, did you see what happened at the crucial moment?
Yeah, I saw it. I pushed up the cushion and had a quick butchers while I had the chance, didn't I? The Irishman was sitting up the bloke, but had fallen on the floor on the seat opposite. That matches Mr. McGill's account, of course. But then, the fella suddenly turns around and looks right at me. I sunk back down again, but it was too late by then. I should never have risked looking. It's because of that this swell found me. It helped me get away, mine.
Hold it!
And when Mr. McGill discovered you, he pulled you out from your hiding place. And I was scared stiff. I was a he dragged me out and he sat me down on the seat and all. Next to the victim, Mr. Mason. Yeah, the bloke had a knife in his guts. He was still bleeding. Then the carriage lurched a bit, and he ended up falling onto me. Yeah, how awful. Both me ends got covered in blood. It made me feel sick as a dog. Both our hands covered in blood. That must be what the rooftop passengers saw. After that, I believe you talked with Mr. McGill for a while. Is that correct? He asked me some stuff. Wanted to know my name and what I was up to. Then I heard something from up above. Someone screamed.
Yes, Mr. First, on the roof deck, one would presume.
Well, I didn't want no one seeing me face, so I didn't look up. Then the horses were drawn up smartish, and this here Irishman says to me, Get back under your seat. I'll see that you can get away later. All 6 members of the jury had decided the defendant was innocent. For one brief shining moment, yes. It's clear that they're all still very unsure. If we could just find some conclusive piece of evidence among the new testimony, I'm sure we can clinch the verdict we want. Yes, I think you're right. And I have a niggling feeling. Something's bothering me, but I just can't put my finger on it. Stuck in the carriage, and they hooked up the horses, always. But it was right. It was right all the ways of time. I got nothing to show for troubles that night. I'll tell you, you can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there. And after a while, I hear this loud bang, nearly jumped out of my skin. I did. And the scream just came out. It's because of this. The swell found me. It did help me get away in mind. I'm not seeing any contradiction here. Okay. I think I should look at the omnibus. Okay, so this is where the victim sat. She's in here. it's just, well, this bloodstain is... Well, this bloodstain is so obvious, that's all. And yet, Van Six has made no mention of it. Suppose it does seem a little strange. Why do I have such a bad feeling about this? The 8-seater omnibus that was on the scene of the crime. There were passengers both inside the carriage on the roof of the deck that night. A largest knife that was found lodged into the victim's abdomen. Its quality and fancy ornaments suggest it must have been quite valuable. Can't see a hiding place.
Hold it! Well, now.
What? Whoa.
Hold it!
Me. Not a jot. Most days I push the cushion up with me head. Look at the crack. Then I could have a butcher's fiddle. I thought you were pickpocket, not butcher. For some reason that night, this Irishman here spent the whole journey over me head. For some reason, you weren't able to push the cushion up to peek out, I see. Truth is, I ain't too happy in small dark places.
Well, now.
Feels too much like being thrown in the clink.
Excuse me.
Is something wrong, Mr. McGill? Oh, I do apologize. Was there something the matter, Conseil? I'm just wondering if Miss Lestrade's last comment made something occur to you, perhaps. You seem to be thinking something to yourself. Oh, no. There's nothing important. I was feeling bad for the poor lass is all. I remember feeling desperate myself as a young lad. Shut up in the dark. It was terrifying, so it was. I see, yes. I'm sure we can all sympathize. I'm still scared of the dark now. Aye, and I don't know about yourself, but I find that the darkness seems to make everything you hear seem that much louder as well. Yeah. I suppose it does, maybe. Miss Lestrade. Did you hear something that night? Anything? An unusual noise, perhaps? Nah, not really. All I could hear was the Irishman snoring. But Jabez, there's no need to tell the whole world of me, but my phobias, you little scamp. What a pity. If only Miss Lestrade had heard something, it might have given us a vital new clue. Yes. What should we make of that last statement of hers?
I think it's important. Because I think that solidifies that he was just sleeping the whole time then, right?
My lord, I believe the statement just made by the witness is profoundly important.
Profoundly important, but all she said was that she heard nothing.
Yes, which is profoundly important point. I'm almost sure of it.
I'm almost sure that I don't understand the inner workings of your Eastern mind, Consel, nevertheless. Miss Gina Lestrade, you will supplement your formal testimony by repeating that last statement, please.
What? Supplement? What are you all about? Don't give me all your fancy talk. I know what you're trying to do. Well, it won't work on me. That's right. Insult the judge. Always a good move. I was straining my ears to work out what was going on, but all I could hear was snoring.
Okay.
All she could hear was snoring.
Hold it!
So you were straining to hear what was happening the entire time, since the moment you hit yourself. Not exactly, no. Sorry. Well, there was no one in the cabin to start with. Could have just pushed the cushion up and have the butchers to see what was what. But then, when I saw the swell getting on, it got me head down, so it didn't notice me. And Mr. McGill sat on the seat under which you were hiding, correct? Yeah. Would you have Adam and Eve in it? Yeah. What a mug. So then all I could do was listen. I was waiting to jump out of those as soon as I had heard him leave, see? But would he? Not likely. Even though we stopped here and there was there and I never heard the door open. So I just had to stay put and listen to him driving his pigs to market snoring. Like an old dog he was. Are any conclusions we can draw from that, I wonder? It doesn't add up. Mr. Lestrade, what were you just told the court? Is clearly at odds with the facts.
At odds? Are you sure, man?
Absolutely. It seems my learned Nipponese friend is not as dull-witted as I feared. So Van Six realized it too.
Cancel. Must insist that you bolster your claim with evidence or some complaint party's name at the very least.
Yes, my lord.
I expect you to demonstrate this alleged contradiction to the court.
Why am I getting so many texts?
Great.
According to Miss Lestrade, while she was hiding in the omnibus that night, she heard nothing but the sound of Mr. McGill snoring. But think, Ryunosuke, think! There's something else she should have heard. Very well, my lord. Allow me to elaborate. On a particular sound that Miss Lestrade could not have failed to hear on the night in question. The sound very clearly explained by the following piece of evidence.
Take that!
Oh, am I wrong?
Okay.
Take that!
Okay, I'm thinking about this all wrong. Alright. So then it really is the omnibus, I'm guessing then? That or it's the knife somehow.
Take that!
Huh. Maybe represent the victim. Yeah.
Take that!
There we go. Fries fired Mason.
Yes, my lord. The sound that Miss Lestrade cannot have failed to hear is that of the victim, Mr. Mason, boarding the omnibus.
Order, explain your reasoning, Consel.
Miss Lestrade, allow me to confirm something. You claimed earlier that you were the first person on board the omnibus, is that correct? Yeah, of course I was. I got on a while the driver was in the pub, didn't I? And the next person to board the omnibus was Mr. McGill. And it was. Not a soul was in the cabin when I climbed aboard. At least, not in plain sight. So you were, to all intents and purposes, alone in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus at that time. And not to say as much. I wasn't traveling with anyone else, if that's what you mean. Yeah, I saw him get on. I saw him get on. Remember, the crack under the seat cushion. He was on his own for sure. And from what we've heard, the carriage made a number of stops after that on its onward journey. During which time did you not hear the door opening or closing at all? Nah, I never heard it. That's exactly what I was listening for, wasn't it? Waiting for the swell to leave? In which case, when and how did the victim end up in the carriage? We know the victim collapsed inside the enclosed cabin of the omnibus. Therefore, Miss Lestrade's statement about what she did or did not hear is at odds with the facts.
Yes, this petty thief's statement was clearly flawed. Lord Van Zix.
Yes. He knew all too well that there was an inconsistency in Miss Lestrade's statement.
It would seem words of thanks are in order for my learned friend.
What are you talking about?
You have demonstrated matters inconspicuously, incapably. This witness and her colorful statements are entirely unreliable. Her words are convinced of untruths, nothing more.
He's dead right. How could the victim possibly not have boarded the omnibus? That makes no sense whatsoever. This girl is a pickpocket. Let's not forget that. She, she didn't even say anything.
I didn't want to judge the dear little knight just because she has some rather naughty ways. But I must say, I can't abide liars.
And neither can I.
Mr. Foreman,
I didn't want to judge the girl just because she has some less than salubrious ways, but I must say, I cannot abide liars.
oh great. Mr. Naruhondo. That's five jury members leaning towards guilty.
Well, your consideration for others is refreshing, my Nipponese friend. To the considerable troubles you have spared me. Yes, very refreshing. Yes, very refreshing.
What are you playing at? Have you forgotten who you're working for, you useless Eastern Edman?
This is carnage. It's perfect. Straw number 2 is the only one left. Mr. Narhondo, the way this is going, I know. If we can't find some new way to convince everyone of Mr. McGill's innocent, the judge will rule and we'll have lost. I very much wanted to believe the words of one of London's most respected gentlemen. But those of us in service know we must accept the hard truths.
Hold it!
Yes, the witness's last statement seems to have revealed a critical inconsistency in her story. However, if we consider the possibility that her statement is in fact the truth, it may shed an entirely new light on this whole case.
What are you saying?
Gonzalo.
I'm sorry, sir. Whatever do you mean?
So, I will not tolerate you attempting to prorogue my adjudication. Explain yourself at once.
When the accused boarded the omnibus on the night in question, the victim was nowhere to be seen. Subsequently, the carriage door was not heard opening a single time, as testified by the witness in the stand. And yet the victim's body was found inside the carriage. If this petty thief's words are to be believed, how do you explain the victim's miraculous appearance inside the cabin of the omnibus? There's only one way to explain how the victim came to be inside the carriage. Shit!
Clearly, he was in beforehand.
Objection!
Am I right?
Look, clearly,
Yeah, no, I'm wrong.
I didn't even mean to click that. Must learn to ramble more relevantly.
Save. Don't rush it. There's a lot of bang going on. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so there's only one way to explain the victim came to be in the carriage. It's never entrance. He was put there after he died. That would be the most logical. That would make the most logical sense. Obviously, the victim must have been placed in the carriage after he was killed.
Objection!
Oh, okay. That's wrong.
There's never entrance. I mean, yeah, we already know there's never entrance, though. If the door wasn't if the door wasn't opened even once more, the only explanation is that the victim entered the enclosed cabin some other way. Oh yeah, that would be true. I wondered what new fantasy you would come up with in your blind panic. But behold, the omnibus is here for us all to see. Only one side of the enclosed cabin is furnished with a door. The other has only windows. Fixed windows which cannot possibly open, in short. There is no entrance to the cabin other than the doors. But there could be. There's one possibility you haven't considered. Oh, really? Yes. One other way inside that isn't the door. Another opening, the use of which allowed the victim to appear inside the enclosed cabin.
I can tell. The defense will identify the location of the court for the court. Here's the omnibus.
Ah, great. In which the incident occurred.
Where on earth was the entrance by which you proposed the victim enter the cabin?
So it's not any of the doors. The only place it could have been was here.
Take that!
The answer is obvious. It can only have been the skylight.
I say, the skylight?
Objection!
Your ludicrous proposal almost has me at a loss for words. However,
Objection!
this skylight may well be large enough for someone to pass through.
Objection!
So you claim. But do you have a shred of evidence to support your able-brained theory? Both Mr. McGill and Mr. Lestrade said the same in their testimonies. They each claimed to have heard a loud thud, such as the noise made by someone falling onto the floor.
Yes, which has already been explained. As the sound of the victim falling from his seat having been assaulted with the dagger.
Yes, it has, but would a man slipping from the seat onto the floor really have made such a loud noise as the witness described? A noise loud enough to cause Miss Lestrade to let out an unculinary cry, in fact.
Good gracious!
Perhaps, in fact, that was the moment the victim made his entrance into the cabin. No, let me rephrase that. The victim didn't enter the cabin as such. He fell into it.
Objection!
You're now suggesting the victim fell from the skylight into the cabin. That's simply impossible.
How can you be so sure?
Because if the victim had fallen inside through the skylight, as you say, the passengers on the roof deck would have seen it happen. I mean, yeah, but, they could be in on it, too.
And yet, not one person made mention of such events in their testimony. Well, yes, that's true, but Might I humble a fella, make a wee commandeer? Mr. McGill. To be sure now, the two fellas who were sat on the roof had testified before said nothing of the victim falling through the skylight. But it seems, me lord, it seems to me, my lord, that 'tis not such a case of them not saying, but aye, 'tis a case of them being unable to say. What? I think perhaps the two fellas do be having something of a compelling reason not to mention what happened. Would you not agree, fine ladies and gentlemen of the jury? Oh my goodness, surely not. Those two chaps on the roof.
You mean the ones who stuck the knife in the man were... Interesting. Just what exactly are you insinuating here? You built her?
What the hell? You rotter, he said. You rotter. What are you insinuating?
This is a flaming outrage. I have a good mind to give you a blinker in a minute.
What is this? What is this animation?
He'll give you a shiner in a minute, he said, and so will I. Mr. Fairplay.
You're effectively accusing me, a city gentleman, a well-respected banker.
And me, a very angry hatter.
Suggesting that someone like me could have stabbed the man in the guts, it's a disgrace, it's scandalous, it's... I protest in the strongest possible terms.
That's right, I protest too. About you, you rotten scoundrel.
Order, order, order! This is not the time, witnesses. I'll permit this wanton invasion of the stand return to the anteroom at once. But this is beyond reason, my lord. It's outrageous.
It's very hurtful, you know.
My lord, if I may comment. Go ahead, Lone Bun 6. It was the fence that indicated this outburst from the witnesses. My learned friend has seen fit to abandon all protocol and accuse the witnesses without proof.
Accuse? I never intended to.
It seems, young Nipponese friend, that your command of the English tongue is wanting. You propose to this court that the victim fell through the skylight through the roof deck of the omnibus. That hypothesis cannot possibly stand without the rooftop passengers being aware of the events. You've branded these gentlemen as liars. You've imitated their criminal guilt. In our British courts of law, that is what is termed a baseless accusation.
I know it's rash to put this idea forward without any actual evidence, but you can't just dismiss it without a second of thought.
What are we wasting time for? get them to testify. I thought there was something fishy about that hat from the moment I laid eyes on the fellow. We are here to see this matter through now, one way or another.
If there's filth and rubbish in our mindset, we must dispose of it at once.
Oh.
What's happening, Mr. Narando? The spectators in the public gallery are... they're in a complete frenzy.
Mr. Fairplay and Mr. First.
My lord?
You will take the stand again and make another formal testimony? In reference to the independence brought by the defense.
Yes, my lord. I didn't come here for this. There's no time to think this through. All I can do is keep pushing forward.
We were the only two up on that roof deck, dead or alive. I can swear to that.
If anything had happened where we were sitting, don't you think one or the other of us had noticed?
In any case, neither of us know the first thing about the victim. We had no reason to kill that man.
The skylight was shut the entire time, I tell you. We couldn't possibly have opened it.
You're so sure the victim fell through the skylight? Where's your proof? I must say that on listening to this testimony, it is somewhat hard to imagine. How either witness have performed any malevolent act on this open rooftop deck without the other noticing forthwith. That's right, you see?
We're innocent, I tell you.
Although logically, of course, the argument falls down if the two of you were in collusion with one another.
What?
According to investigators by Scotland Yard, the two witnesses share no common dealings.
Well, I don't trust coppers any more than I trust the staking rich. Something doesn't feel right here. The trial is going in our favor, really. So why do I feel so uneasy?
Counsel for the defense, over to you. Your cross-examination, please.
Oh, yes, my lord.
There's a contradiction here somewhere, I just know it. We were the only two people up on the roof deck, dead or alive, I can swear to that. Yeah. If anything had happened, where we were sitting, don't you think one or the other of us would have noticed? In any case, neither of us know a first thing about the victim. We had no reason to kill the man. But you do have a reason, don't you? It's risky, but...
Objection!
Okay, no.
So, you had never met Mr. Fired Mason before?
Oh, Lumen, no. Not once, never.
He'd never met the man before, he said. Never! And you, Mr. First, had no prior dealings with the victim either. That's right, sir. Hatters don't have much to do with brickmakers, to be perfectly honest, sir.
No, I imagine not. You see? How many different ways can I put this? Neither of us have...
Well, no.
Neither of us have the remotest connection to the gentleman who were inside the cabin.
Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Mr. McGill. Yes, Gonzalo. What can I be doing for you? Did the witness's last statement give you pause for thought somehow? Not the remotest connection. Is that right now, I wonder?
What are you insinuating now?
Ah, Mr. Fairplay, it's been too long, so it has. If I'm not very much mistaken, I believe this fast approaching, is it not? Your payment date.
I beg your pardon?
You borrowed 20 guineas from me, sir.
At an unconsiderable rate of interest. You tricked me. It's an extortion.
Well, now, is that a touch of burglary, is it? A sort of burglary that might motivate a fellow to pass his crimes off on another. And young Mr. Fast. Me, sir? What do you want with me, sir? What to be making hats for a living, do you not? That there top hat sliding on your head. Is that one of your own creations, is it? Well, I'm still an apprentice, you understand? I'm learning to find the perfect fit for whatever fine gent walks through the door. A perfect fit, is it? Well, it is a very distinctive design, so it is. Many customers like it, I tell you. They like a distinctive touch. Customers such as Mr. Fry's Fired Mason. Here was a photographic print of the victim submitted as evidence afford, my lord.
Oh, this you mean.
I can't help thinking that the poor fella's hat looks distinctly familiar, wouldn't you say? Oh. That's one of my hats. Aye, that it is. So it would seem the brickmaker was a customer of yours. He's got a good eye. That sort of customer, I'd wagered, you could have had a wee quarrel with over the distinctiveness of the goods. Oh, no, sir. Absolutely not, sir. There's really nothing more to add. It wouldn't be right to say that the two fellas here haven't the remotest connection to the victim, you see.
Aura. Absolute aura.
I rest my case.
You little weasel. Ah.
He's better at this than I am. Gosh, Mr. McGill has certainly been through in this research, hasn't he? Please, don't let me, a little interruption, hold up the proceedings.
For having identified Miller responsible for the victim. Ah, okay. Okay.
Objection!
Okay, no. Um,
Objection!
okay, not that either. Alright then.
Objection!
I still can't. Oh, whoops. Do I just keep pressing then? I mean, expose them.
Hold it!
I'm quite certain about that the skylight was shut the entire time.
Hmm. Might need to take a look at it. I'm going to lose my block with you in a minute.
He's going to lose his rag with you in a minute. That's what he said.
Okay. Check fast. Just look on the night.
So it is, of course. A fellow the size of Mr. Mason could have likely break right through it, still and all. What? Just look at the size of the thing. You understand?
Now, hold on there. A minute, sir. The size of the thing means nothing. Not on its own. Let's consider the bigger picture here, shall we?
Let's stop biting our cane, shall we? I was riding the omnibus on another occasion when, well, it broke wind loudly. I shocked myself with it, as it happens.
This is an unexpected confession, Mr. First.
Oh, I just mean to say, well, The point is, I tried to open the skylight, you see. But just my luck, I couldn't make it budge. The stench was terrible. Everyone was looking daggers at me, sir. I went as red as a rogue, I did.
Are you expecting me to sentence you?
Oh, no, sir. The point is, the skylight cannot be opened.
Wait, that ain't...
I tried when I was inside the cabin. Of a shame.
Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Do you have something to say, Miss Lestrade? Apparently not. Miss Lestrade. It opens. The skylight. That is what we're talking about, right? All them skylights open dead easy. More easily than you can load that weapon. That's a lie, I tell you. Otherwise, when I broke wind, I... You can't do it from inside, you mug. Oh. Look, a few weeks ago, I was up on the roof deck of one of them drags. And I had a great haul. I mean, I had purses coming out on the ears.
Miss Lestrade, this is not the forum to be engrossing on the subject of your criminal activities.
Well, anyway, I had a bit of a scare. When I lifted the last bloke's purse, he got wise to me. All four of them surrounded me, so I couldn't hop off the bus and leg it. So, what I did was I used the skylight, opened the catch, and jumped right through. What? Yeah, the catch for them skylights is on the top side. That's why you can't open them from the cabin. The skylight opens from the roof deck.
Both. Climb onto the roof of the omnibus once and verify the witness claims.
So it does. Ah! Oh, my hat! See?
Order, order, order! So it appears that this street girl's statement is quite true.
I don't believe it. The skylight opens. And from the roof deck. Mr. Naruhondo, this could be the clue we've been looking for.
Well, Cancel. Order of the fence, please continue with the cross-examination.
Yes, my lord. So the skylight opens. Perhaps I should investigate it. Perhaps I should investigate for myself. So the skylight fin made shut, but how? But now the catch has been undone. We should be able to open it. You can certainly see inside the carriage through this opening, that's for sure.
Stream okay? Yes, there's a lamp enclosed in the cabin. So, I'm sure the witness could have been able to see it quite clearly. That's not good for us. Okay, nothing really too interesting about that. So do I present it here is the thing.
Objection!
No. That's okay, if that's the case, then this one requires a lot of steps. Okay. So that's open. Let's try opening it from here then.
Objection!
I'm very confused here.
Hold it!
What's more, the catch that secures it found on the roof deck side. This is getting flamingly uncussed. Do I just keep pressing?
This is getting absurd, he said. Completely absurd.
That's right. Neither of us even knew that the skylight had a catch. If we didn't know, we couldn't have opened it, and if we didn't open it, we couldn't have kicked the fellow down.
Please, where's the idea about kicking the victim through the skylight coming from? Whoever designed these carriages anyway fancy not being able to open the skylight from the inside. What about breaking wind? Didn't they think about that? There's no point having a skylight if it can't spare you embarrassment, is there? We're getting really off topic here. If you actually have a point, pray do enlighten the rest of us. I'll tell you what my point is.
Hold it!
Proof. That's right. I demand to hear it. We came here to say what we saw. I tell you, not for this. Oh, whoops. I wonder if these two men really were involved in some way. I couldn't say. I mean, I don't really know anything about them, do I? Although, by the same token, I don't really know anything about Mr. McGill either. It's so hard to know what to believe here. I think we should try to remember that it's evidence alone that can truly determine the outcome of the trial. Evidence. No one can argue against decisive evidence, including the members of the jury. So you're saying that what we need now is to find conclusive piece of evidence. Yes, Mr. Naruhondo, precisely. Paper is what we need. Alright, let me press on that last statement again.
Hold it!
But you call us both shizers? Brand us as criminals? You call us liars? That's what he means, and accuse us of doing it. As it stands at the moment, there's no hard evidence that incriminates yourselves now, is there? I believe we're in much the same position as one another here. If I don't crack this case soon, he'll crank his teeth. Okay, what is it though? If you're so sure that the victim fell through the sky, where's your proof?
Objection!
I'm an idiot. Okay, this is a hard one. I've presented the omnibus, but it's apparently not the omnibus. How did the victim fall through the skylight roof? The 8-seater omnibus.
prepared. A report prepared by this guy.
Objection!
I'm confused here. I guess I keep pressing then. Cause nothing is. Cause I feel like I'm not really getting anything.
Hold it!
So at no time, the victim, Mr. Mason, climbed up to join you on the roof deck. No question about it. He said it. Not at all. Oh, but yes, of course. I remember seeing them both. The victim inside the enclosed cabin talking with this man here. Is that true, Mr. McGill? Dear me, my lord. At the risk of repeating myself, I boarded the omnibus alone and nodded off inside almost immediately. That's an outright lie. I doubt you were engaged in. Let's stop there, fella, and ask, do you have any evidence at all? Ah. It's all about evidence in the court these days, so it is. You'd well to remember that. I saw you with my own eyes. This is going so well.
Hold it!
Well, on the final run of the omnibus at past 10 o'clock the evening, I would certainly would have been quite dark, perhaps too dark to see clearly. Is this some kind of lark? Is this some kind of joke? Joke, he said. Or perhaps one of the other of you fell asleep briefly. Are you fair dinkum, sir? Are you serious, sir? That's what he said. It's impossible, I tell you. I'd give you the keys to the vault if you fall asleep in the bitter cold. And if you did manage it, your eyelids would freeze shut, and you'd never open them again. That's extreme. It was extreme, I tell you, and we had to put up with it because this man had locked the door. Any true chit would have unlocked it and let me in when I knocked. I'm dreadfully sorry about that young fella. You see, I was
I was away with the fairies, and I didn't hear you at all. That's a lie. I saw you through the glass. You were talking to someone. Now. 'Twas the cold night, so it was. Please do be seeing things that aren't real in the cold. It is hardly surprising. Seeing things.
I believe we reached an impasse here on the particular point.
You. Don't take it personally now, lad. If I'm a suspect in this case, then 'tis you only fair that you and the other fiend are too. Open and free competition is what a capitalist society is all about. This isn't a competition I should like to be involved in, really. I'm missing something. I know I am. Here we go, okay. I didn't have to kick someone like you for certainly, Mr. Naruhodo. Why someone like me? What is it? Look, just here, look at this.
Oh my god, bro.
That's, without question, it's blood. Why would there be blood? Why would there be a blood stain there? Surely it can't be unrelated to the case, can it? Yeah, I knew it. I knew I was missing something, man. Ah, well, that's figured out now. You can't hide now.
Objection!
On the night in question, the victim was fatally stabbed in the stomach. And immediately afterwards, the victim's body was pushed through the skylight into the cabin below. Those are the facts, and of irrefutable proof. Remains clearly visible in the omnibus that stands before us today in the very courtroom. What? That's utter humbug. You can't possibly have any evidence. No, you can't. I mean, we didn't do it, I tell you. It's impossible. Irrefutable proof here in this courtroom.
Cancel.
My lord.
I believe everyone would appreciate a little clarification here, Where exactly within the omnibus is this evidence to which you allude? You point out what it is that proves the victim fell through the roof deck of the skylight. I just have to present the bloodstain, right?
Got it!
By Jupiter, is that blood?
This bloodstain proves two things. Firstly, when the incident occurred, the skylight of the omnibus was open.
What?
And secondly, the victim was already bleeding when he fell through the opening. Oh my. And so it follows that Mr. McGill, who was inside the enclosed cabin himself at the time, cannot possibly be guilty of this crime. No.
Order. But the blood could have sprayed up from when the fellow was stabbed inside the cabin.
And only found its way to the top of the particular spot on the skylight. Sure, that would be very convenient. And let's keep it in mind that the skylight catch can only be unfastened from the roof deck. I myself wouldn't have been able to open it now, would I? But there's no way to know for certain, is there? If the jet really fell through the skylight, I mean. Why don't you have a good look at the floor of the cabin between the two seats, Mr. First? It's all too plain if you see. There's the aftermath that shows the poor fella drop from a fair height right there, so what is.
What? No.
But it can't be.
Lies. My fellow jury members, I think we can all agree that this is a clear proof of the defendant's innocence, can't we?
I believe we can, sir. It's clear to me now where the filthy rubbish can be found in this courtroom.
So, they thought they could pull the wool over my eyes, did they? I won't tolerate any of the guild's carriages being sullied with blood. I won't tolerate it.
Oh, I always knew that nice gentleman who gave us that delightful park couldn't have done such a thing.
On three then, everyone. 1, 2, 3.
Objection!
A chilling performance, Mr. McGill. Oh, and what would you be referring to there now, Lord Van Zeeks?
A blood stain on the frame of the skylight. Such evidence is null and void.
What? Why?
For one extremely simple reason. That smear of blood never existed.
Objection!
What are you talking about? It's there for all to see, and it's clearly blood.
Objection!
I personally attended Scotland Yard's investigation of the omnibus. The officers involved went over to the carriage with a fine-tooth comb. So I can state with absolute certainty, no such smear of blood existed in the carriage. At least, not until this trial began.
But
Are you suggesting, Lord Van Zix, that this stain of blood was
fabricated, my lord? Yes. And while this court has been in session...
What?
What a babbler. I must say I didn't expect such a crude reasoning from a prosecutor of your standing, Lord Van Zeeks. But I'm Magnus McGill, a fellow known all over the capital for his fine contributions of the public life. I don't take kindly to slander, and I'll fight it to the bitter end. Even if it's rolling off the tongue of the Reaper of the Bailey.
Mr. McGill, I realize that this is your first appearance in court as the accused. However, I'm well aware of your involvement behind the scenes in a great many affairs of dubious nature. You're very adept when it comes to avoiding getting your own hands dirty. And each time it happens that a case you're involved in is investigated, you adapt the facts.
Adapt the facts? What do you even mean?
When you wield a fortune of the size of Mr. McGill's, however ill-gotten it may be, nothing is impossible. Tampering with evidence, manipulating the scene of a crime, bribing witnesses. I toast your ability to conduct the most convenient of stories, sir.
Tut, Lord Van Zeeks. This will not do, to be sure. Hear it now, consider.
Oh, no!
I think it's fair to say, this does all sound like a rather far-fetched excuse by a desperate man. blood on the skylight doesn't exist, you say? But if you will all cast your minds back, is it not true that the omnibus there has been in the courtroom the entire time? How could anyone possibly have smeared blood in with it, blood in it with the world and his wife seeing? Isn't that right now, Gonzale? I mean, I guess, but there is a way to, like, smear blood on the skylight. It's true. The omnibus has been in full view the entire time that court has been in session. My learned friend. Here's to hearing your opinion on this matter, in your own words. As you wish. Could someone have tampered with the omnibus during this trial? If you're asking me, I think... Honestly? Yeah. There is a person. As a defense lawyer, it's my job to advocate for the defendant as best as I can. But still, I feel as though there's something even more important at stake here. We're just trying to find out the truth, is all we're trying to do. There is no evidence to suggest that the defendant did as my learned friend suggests. However, in terms of having the opportunity to carry out the alleged tampering, there is one possibility.
Oh? Good gracious. Explain yourself, Gonzale.
Yes, there is. It seems my learned Nipponese friend has no intention of running from this deceit.
Deceit?
I'm sure everyone still remembers clearly the recess that we were forced to take. As a result of the smoke grenade fired by the witness currently in the stand, Miss Gina Lestrade. That could have been the only time that they could have had the chance to implant any evidence there. The courtroom was filled with smoke, and everyone was thrown into confusion. All of us were made to leave this chamber. In that brief interval, under the veil of smoke and in all the chaos, it could have been possible to steal inside the omnibus. Are you wise? Are you trying to pull ye rotten, feckless Goja? Feckless? Goja? You're supposed to be defending me. There's a wicked plot. There's a wicked plot to undermine me, so it is.
Objection!
Whatever you think it is, it changes nothing. The facts are the same. After this courtroom was evacuated earlier as a result of the smoke grenade,
a number of inconsistencies materialize in relation to the omnibus. Inconsistencies such as, to start with, the storage compartment underneath the rear passenger seat. It's empty now. When the police investigated the omnibus, this compartment was full of the driver's items. Secondly, we have a smear of blood on the edge of the skylight. As I've said, that was not present at the start of the trial this morning. Fortunately, Lord Van Zix, no one is able to corroborate your claims.
That's true. When the omnibus was first wheeled out, both the storage compartment and the skylight were shut.
Accordingly, I'm afraid to say we cannot establish with any certainty if the evidence is the result of tampering or not.
Indeed, my lord. No doubt there was not a single person who saw fit to verify such things. What do you think? Sorry. About the omnibus. Is there anything unusual about the omnibus? I have an inkling. My lord,
Yes, Cancel.
there is one further inconsistency. A mark that surely could not have been present at the start of the trial.
What?
What in the devil's name are you doing? Are you going to say now? If you dare betray me, you little maggot, you'd be...
Objection!
Silence, Mr. McGill.
The court awaits the defense's clarifications. This trial keeps swinging one way, and then the other. I have no idea what's the truth and what's deception. What am I supposed to believe here?
Same. I don't even know who's innocent at this point. I still have to ask you to elaborate, Cancel. I'll save here. Where exactly is this alleged mark that you claim appeared at some point during the trial?
Okay, I can't be the only one. It's the blood on the floor,
Got
right?
it.
Because look at it. It looks fresh. It looks new. And I don't remember seeing it there. If we consider the victim fell through the skylight onto the floor of the cabin, we'd certainly expect to find signs of blood where he landed. But as far as I recall, this bloodstain on the cabin floor was not there when the omnibus was brought into the courtroom.
Good lord! Yes, I do believe you're correct, Cancel.
Well said. Although, as advocate for the defense, one might say that was a very careless slip of the tongue. I believe that bloodstain on the floor is a decisive piece of evidence. But if the question is whether that evidence is genuine or whether it was unlawfully fabricated by someone, I feel compelled to admit that there's at least a possibility that the evidence is fake. Ah! This trial is over. Mr. McGill? I've done everything I possibly can to cooperate with the court, but it's all over now.
But you're the defendant.
Tis over, I tell ye. Memory, recollection, what people think they saw, is all nonsense. Facts are what counts, and the fact is that bloodstain is there now.
Well,
And over the course of this desperate trial, long and extremely drawn out as has been, that good-for-nothing Reaper of the Bailey has failed to present any decisive evidence at all. And scandalized, so I am. I thought I'd better of Lord Van Zeek's. Well, my lord,
I must concur. The defendant, the unaffirmated recollections of an individual cannot stand as evidence. At this moment in time, the particular bloodstain in question is very much in existence. And in the absence of any credible method by which to prove its alleged previous non-existence.
is my client guilty?
I regret to say that it would be improper for this trial to continue.
your lordship can't be serious.
Lord Van Zix, what is your position?
The prosecution, my lord, has no further witnesses or evidence to present.
Very well. In that case, I believe we have explored every possible avenue in this matter. I shall proceed to my adjudication. As a formality, I am of course obliged to confirm with the defense first.
What formality? As things stand at the moment, it would seem that Mr. McGill will not be found not guilty. Yes, which would mean we've won. Is it really the right outcome here? Is it really all right for the trial to come to an end now, with all this unexplained inconsistencies?
Counsel for the defense. Your closing statement, please.
Yes, my lord. The defense believes...
I don't want to say it, man.
Honestly, I'm like another save file, just in case. But I can't help but feel that the defendant could be guilty. I just feel like we haven't reached the truth yet. I'm here in the courtroom today to advocate for the defense of my client, Mr. McGill. However, at this moment in time, I cannot in all good consciousness attest fully to the defendant's inconsistency.
What are you saying, man?
Without any question, there is no conclusive evidence to prove that the defendant is guilty. However, there is no conclusive evidence to prove that he is innocent.
Good. Good gracious! Order, order! This is unprecedented behavior. Cancel. A defense lawyer calling the accused innocent into question. Are you sound mind?
Oh, it was a grand decision to appoint you as my lawyer. So it was. A grand decision. He's laughing? What? I must say, I didn't expect quite such an exciting spectacle at the end there, but still. Here. Oh, whoa. Have this for your troubles. Ah! Your job here is done, fella. And some fine work you've done, so you have. What do you mean? Tis just as right as honorable gentleman so sincerely put it before. The trial can't go on anymore. In your closing statement, there was, how did he put it? Now, nothing more than formality. I really don't know what to make of all this. Was the evidence we've seen genuine, or was it fake? His lordship would be fuming. Any unsightly rubbish should be disposed of promptly, as I said. The stinking rich are always guilty of something, you... mark my words. I feel terribly ashamed that I ever doubted that lovely man who gave us the lovely park. Now that the proceedings have unfolded in this way, I'm compelled to declare a premature end to this trial. Furthermore, the court must accept the defendant's plea. I thank you kindly, my lord. I hereby pronounce the verdict of this court.
Objection.
But we still haven't determined if the bloodstains in the omnibus is genuine or not. We don't know if these witnesses are telling the truth or a pack of lies. We have no idea about the truth. Exactly, Norhondo.
Lord Van Zix.
My lord.
The case made by the prosecution was flawed, plain, and simple. If indeed the omnibus presented as evidence was tampered with, the prosecution is at fault for allowing such a disgraceful prevention of justice to take place.
My sincerest apologies, my lord.
Objection.
But wait! When we evacuated from the courtroom, Lord Van Zix ordered the evidence to be secured.
I'm afraid the prosecution cannot shun responsibility in this matter.
That's so unfair.
Culpability, the defendant has not at the present time been established by this court. Coincidentally, the jury will not be required to proffer a judgment.
What? Well, Lord Van Zix, it's been a pleasure. So it has. And as for you, my dear fella, I couldn't have asked for a better defense.
Do you mean to tell me this has all been a grand waste of time?
Tis the law of the land, my good man. If you'd like to pursue this matter further, you can always go ahead and try to change the law.
Dude, this is only the third episode, what?
Magnus McGill. Good grief, you've more to say to me, have ye?
Just one thing, a warning. this is far from over.
Something to be looking forward to then.
I hereby pronounce the defendant, Mr. Magnus McGill, not guilty.
I won, but I don't feel like I've won. I can't believe it. This is an outrage. They should have examined the evidence more. What are you talking about? This man's been cleared he's innocent. Damn. The courtroom in pandemonium. For the second time that day, the judge delivered his verdict. And my first ever trial in Great Britain came to an abrupt end. The defendant being found not guilty. Essentially a victory for us. That's wow. How long have I been streaming? 2 hours? Almost about 3 hours. Okay. I think I'll end here. Okay. Well, anyway, thank you all for watching.